5:30, let's stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we get started, I would like to stand and have a moment's silence for Georgia Marcus' daughter. Her daughter's name was Hillary. I guess she got killed in a very bad accident. Thank you very much. Georgia is one of our teachers at Mount Taylor Elementary. Okay, we're going to have to get whatever you think. We just have to do it before the executive session. Mr. Jones wants to call us.
Yeah. Give him a call.
Let's just go and get him on. Is it the same number?
It is.
Yes. Richard, this is Will. We just got the meeting started, so behave yourself. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay, we need to approve the agenda. Is there any changes?
Yes, just for clarity, under limited personnel issues, we're going to remove the buyback that you have listed there. I'll do that in my report. It shouldn't be really done in executive session. That was my error.
So that moves to
Yeah,
item 10.
yeah.
Okay.
And-
Look at A.
And then we need to, Emily's suggestion was we need to be more specific with the June 25th hearing and specifically refer to it as a employee termination hearing.
Okay. Any other changes?
Nope.
You said something about the ROTC.
That's the buying preparation period.
Okay.
Preps.
So this is all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the amendments made. Like the motion to approve the agenda. Second. All in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, we have the agenda before us. Next thing we have is approval of the minutes. The only thing I have is on the first one, for July 1, under approval of minutes. I'd like to have the minutes note who made the motion and who seconded it.
Oh, to approve.
Righty, changes? If not, I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Mr. Stewart, second by Ms. Daly. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Nay. With the corrections. We go into executive session, and we will be talking about limited personnel issues, leave and in litigation, and I'd like to have a motion to this effect.
So moved. Go into executive session at 5:37.
Second motion. Possible, roll call vote. Mr. Stewart?
Aye.
Ms. Daly?
Aye.
Myself? Aye. See if Richard? Richard? All right.
So we can go in.
Come out of executive session, I'd like to have a motion to that effect.
Make a motion to come out of executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a second. All in favor of this motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you, Richard. Okay, we go into item 5, presentations. We have an action item A, sick leave bank renewal. Tanya Hernandez.
I believe Mr. Hernandez is doing a vaccination, but I'll go ahead and start. What Mr. Hernandez will be presenting is just a
I think she's done. I think she gave her a vaccination.
request, that's good,
Yes.
for the sick leave bank, and I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening. Sorry. There was a staff member who had gone to a staff vaccination last fall and he finished up his series. So I thought, I'll be here tonight, so.
I was wondering what that screaming was back
Now you know.
Do we have a mic or?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay, sorry, let me find my page. Okay. The sick leave bank has a mechanism in place for employees to obtain additional paid sick leave in extenuating circumstances. It's called the sick leave bank. Last year, we awarded 7 days to employees. Our starting balance, August of this coming year, will be 362. Our starting balance last year was 369, and the 7 days were awarded. And I'd also like to mention we have the longest running sick leave bank in the state. So I'm asking tonight to have it renewed.
Are there any questions?
I would recommend approval. As presented.
Okay, Dr. Spade, any recommendation to approve the sick leave bank renewal? Motion made by Daly,
Second.
second by Mr. Stewart. All in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Richard? 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 He said he promised me. Okay, we do have an approval.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not. I'm not. I promise. Robin. Okay. All right. Next one is B. Brain Origin and ROTC. Dog.
No,
Where's that?
that should have been taken off here.
Oh, introduction, Gloria Chavez, I'm sorry, Gloria. We have a desk donation from Magistrate Court.
Dr. Space, Mr. Esteban and board members, about the middle of June, we got a call from the magistrate courts, and they had some furniture that they felt was in really good shape, and they would like to donate it to the schools. So at that point, I sent Bernadette and Bridie down to look at it to see if it was as in good shape as they said it was, so they took pictures. So what you have, I think in your board packet, it has the pictures of the units. And if you don't have them, I will share the ones that I had, but it's pretty nice, it's pretty nice stuff, so. I told them that our procedure was that it had to go to the board, so at that point, Bernadette called them and they wrote a letter donating it to the board, and I would ask that if you think that it's worthy that you accept this donation from them.
It is an action item. Dr. Space.
I recommend approval. I appreciate that the magistrate court has donated these. It's oftentimes when you get a donation, the quality of the equipment leaves much to be desired. But to hear from both Bern and Bridie that, yeah, these are quality pieces of equipment, it's nice to have. I recommend it.
Well, and I really think they gave us a low cost on what each one of them was worth, because we've purchased this kind of equipment before, and we know what its real value is, so at $200, $250 a piece was just really low on their end, but that's what they're giving us.
Okay. We have a recommendation from the superintendent to approve this.
I'll make a motion to approve the donation.
Second by Mr. Jones. Thank you, Richard. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's much appreciated.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we have item B, special education policies and procedures. Denise?
Good evening, Mr. Esteban, Mr. Stewart, Ms. Daly, Dr. Space, members of Central Office. I have for you tonight, I gave each of you a small packet. It's basically an insert packet because originally these policies and procedures were scheduled to be approved at our last board meeting. And so the little packet reflects tonight's date, okay? I also left with Bridie 2 signature pages, which will require all members to sign, as well as Dr. Space, Ms. Chavez, and myself. Are there any questions? And I'm sure you had a chance to read the whole thing. I bet you did.
I didn't read the whole thing, but I did go through it to make sure that one of the things I always look for is making sure that they still have the IEPs, because that's by law required.
And then the reading was much better than the first phasing on BBC.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes. Well, if you don't have any further questions at this time, I would like to request your approval for these policies and procedures to be adopted by our district. And upon doing so, I will submit that information to the state of New Mexico so that they can finalize our IDEA-B application for this upcoming year.
Thank you.
I would recommend approval of these policies and procedures. And I want to thank Denise for her efforts in getting this before us in a timely manner.
Okay. We do have a recommendation.
So moved.
David?
Second?
Stewart? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, we have approval for the special education policies and procedures.
Thank you
Denise.
very much.
That was a lot of hard work. Thank you so much.
We go on to item 7, personnel. Dwayne, 8, hires, resignation, retirement.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Space. Just 3 items for you this evening. The first item is the list of our current hires for certified classified and resignations. Ms. Bridie is also handing out a couple things. One's a current vacancy list, the list of vacancies we have up till today. And the other thing is just a graph. Dr. Space had asked me to do a comparison of prior years at around this time of vacancies and how it compares to this year. And you can see from that graph, I went ahead and went back, I believe, 4 years on that. It just shows by site at this time roughly how many sites had vacancies. So you can see we're right, just as I suspected, we're right kind of in line with other years as far as vacancies. As far as the vacancy list, I think we've done real well. We've filled several. These are just the outstanding ones, and a lot of those are in process at this time.
So, we'll be ready for school around the corner.
That is definitely our hope and our intention, and we're definitely beating the bushes looking for quality teachers.
And the yellow, are those that been filled?
Yellow are designated certified staff, certified positions, and I believe the red is the other color. Those are classified. Green, I'm sorry. So yeah, those just.
These are vacancies or
Those are current vacancies, yes, sir.
those positions?
Yes, sir.
What I'm worried about is the band.
Actually, we do have a candidate. I talked to Mr. Trio today, and Dr. Space had that same concern. We do have a candidate that's looking very promising. Mr. Trio is going to be doing an interview next week, so hopefully that comes to fruition.
Like Dr. Space, even if we get a mariachi.
Not yet, you're right.
You know, I thought, maybe, well, at Santa Fe Elementary, I thought we were further along than this.
We've hired, I believe, two of the teachers so far, Mr. Stewart, and then Ms. Schuyler's actually working, and she has interviews scheduled, so those are in process and should be forthcoming real soon. I just didn't have them at this time.
Okay.
Any other questions? No?
Okay, thank you very much. The next item I have for you is just for your information. As you know, we work with the PED and the Office of Civil Rights. We had a visit, I believe, back in 2009, just a compliance review where they came and checked things. This was just a follow-up visit that they had done last year, where we complied with. They wanted to come in and just look at some things, and well, they did note a few items that needed repair. Maybe it was a bathroom stall, or we needed to post our non-discrimination language. Anyway, we fully complied with the things that they identified, and this letter is just for information that shows that they want to confirm the grants has met all those requirements and we're in full compliance.
So this is just information?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And what they do is they'll come in every once in a while, and they want to make sure that, for instance, our handicapped parking signs are up and visible and accessible to those folks that may have disabilities, and just that our buildings are accessible. And so we go around. Mr. Clark from maintenance helped us. We did a walkthrough. A lot of the site principals helped us. They identified things, and we rectified them. They're actually pretty minor, and they really appreciated our cooperation.
This is policy advisory.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. The final item is, as you know, through the New Mexico School Boards Association, we have subscribed to their policy service, and with that, they provide us policy advisories, and usually those are driven by legislation or changes in the administrative code. So what you have before you are just 3 of the latest policy advisories. Let me get there myself. And they're just for your review at this time. We'll be coming to you at a later time for action on these, but we want to give you full time to review these. Advisory 108 deals with immunizations of students, and particularly the exemptions and how parents go about filing for exemptions of the immunizations. Policy 109 is the requirements that through legislation that there's some new child abuse training that's required for staff I've already made accommodations for that for this upcoming year, where we'll be requiring some additional training of all staff with regard to child abuse training, and the advisory 110 deals with family life education, and then finally policy 111 is the graduation requirements, which basically state that when students are freshmen, though whatever requirements are in place when they're a freshman, they'll stay throughout their entire career. What you'll find is that in these policy advisories, I like the way they're written because there's a summary, the background as to why it's needed, a brief summary as to what it is, and then the actual change in the policy for your review. Any items that no longer need to be there have been, will be aligned through them, and any new information will be underlined.
Okay. Any questions? None? Thank you, Dwayne.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Okay, we have item 8, citizens to address the board. State your name for the record.
Tracy Wilcox, Tracy Wilcox. I'm Tracy Wilcox. My biggest concern is the redistricting on all the maps. We're right on the cut line for Milan and Blue Water. And I'd like to know how that's going to be handled, because right now my students go to Blue Water. And like I said, we're right on the line. We could go to Milan, I guess we should go to Milan, but we've been taking our children up to Nursery Road where they catch a bus that takes them out to Blue Water. And I would not like for them to change schools at this time. And that's my concern, so I was waiting for the redistricting.
Thank you, Ms. Wilcox. We'll take that into consideration, and the concern is really, that you want an answer. We want to instruct Dr. Space to work with you, but right now we're going to approve the plan, and then we're going to go out to the community, present it, come back, and then act on it again to make sure that we address some of the concerns that the communities do have on the proposed plan, so that there's a timeline that we're still waiting. Am I right? Dr.
Yes,
Space?
yeah. So there'll be a time where in areas that are affected, we'll have community meetings there, and you'll be able to give feedback. Why can't you do this or that?
And Mr. Sharp is back there. Maybe you could get with him in the meantime.
Yeah.
So that you indicate where you're at. Okay.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Sure.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, we move on to item 9, budget and finance. Mr. Martinez.
Mr. Esteban, Dr. Space, and members of the board, and community members. My name is Germán Martinez, and I am submitting the approval of the June expenditures. They are in your board packet. I have reviewed them myself, the vouchers in their entirety, and if there are any specific questions on any of those specific expenditures, we can clarify those as well.
Mr. Martinez, what are previous people that had your position, they usually read out the front page only, so that the record will show.
Sure. So let the record show in terms of the payroll and accounts payable listing. The accounts payable starting at the total amount paid in the accounts payable was $1,468,792.88. The activity payable was $76,567.81, and the payroll listing was $1,413,852.46. The grand total is $2,959,213.15.
Thank you. Any questions? I had two questions, but they were answered. Dr. Spade?
I would recommend approval of the June expenditures as presented by Mr. Martinez.
Okay, you heard the recommendation. The motion.
Richard, want to,
Richard, you want to make a motion? Okay.
okay, we gotta have a that, because it's supposed to be working.
Second motion.
Okay. Let the record show that Richard made the motion from Idaho,
Rock Springs,
Wyoming, Wyoming. Okay, so we have a motion. All in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All in favor of this motion? We're waiting. Opposed, nay. Okay, we have approval for June expenditure. Okay, go on to B, Bar.
And the bar for consideration is for the Title VII Fund, 24155. This is the initial budget allocation. We did receive the award letter from and I believe the full application is in your packet for review. But the award letter was received on July 7th in the amount of $270,240 in total.
The only question I have is on the line item itself, after the salary expense, it says additional compensation. What is that?
And that additional compensation, to my knowledge, is for the, going into the application itself, it will be page, these pages aren't listed, I apologize. But for the LEA staff, it's 2.2.3 for the professional development. So in any additional salaries that are required for substitute services and that nature to cover those conferences for those staff members.
Kind of problem with those type of things. Never know what they're going to picture. Okay. There's any other questions? Okay. Dr. Spade?
I would recommend approval of the bar as presented.
Okay, you heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve? Thank you, Richard.
I second.
Daly. All in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Going to C, community eligibility provision. Amina. Adam.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, and Dr. Space. In your packet, I gave you information in regards to a new program that will be rolling out this school year by the Coordinated School Health and Wellness Bureau, which we now fall under. It's called the Community Eligibility Provision. In order to be eligible for this, we have to have 40% of our students who are directly certified. Directly certified, you can see on the paper that was given to you under identified students. Those are students who receive SNAP benefits, Federal Distribution Program on Indian Reservations, which is known as FDIPR, foster children, migrant, runaway, homeless, and Head Start programs, though those don't fall under us. Based on that, if we look at the data that was given to us, which is given to us by the state, and they in turn are given their data from the Human Services Department, you can see that in our district we have 58.05% of our students who directly are certified or receive SNAP benefits. And based on that information, we have the 40% of students required. This program, under this program, it will be beneficial to our district in terms that all of our students will eat free breakfast and free lunch. We will no longer take applications based on income, and all students will receive free breakfast and free lunch. And our reimbursement rate with the multiplier of 1.6 will be 92.88%. Do you guys have questions in regards to this program?
You're still gonna follow the same nutritional guidelines that they set forth?
Yes, ma'am, because those guidelines are set forth from the USDA, and that's who provides us our reimbursement.
And we're gonna make this public to all the schools?
Yes, ma'am, I have a public announcement that's been forwarded to us, and I'll be filling that out and putting it in the local newspaper so that parents are aware.
I want to commend Senator. This was her initiative. She did this. I'm very pleased with her department. You can go throughout this state, and there's a number of nutrition programs that are running in the red. Hers runs in the black. And then on top of that, to go and seek to do this, and to do this for the benefit of our children. I just, when she came to me, it was really, to me, one of the most exciting bits of news I've had since I've been here. And again, I want to commend her.
Thank you.
Good job.
Do you have any questions in regards?
Yeah, in the years past, they used to give us fruit when we were going to pass this court. I remember that.
Are you gonna be able to maintain the same cafeteria staff at all the sites? It's not gonna affect that at all?
I'm not really sure how it'll affect it. My hope is that we will stay even and in the black. What's interesting about this program is that we're using our percentages. We can opt out after a year, which I'll be looking at our books closely through the entire year to make sure that we stay in the black and we can operate. I'm happy to say that I do have a cash carryover that I can lean on for a couple of years, but it's a program that we can opt out after a year if it's not working for us. And also next year, if we see that our percentages go up of directly certified students, we can reaffirm so that we can seek the higher reimbursement rate with our higher percentage of directly certified students.
Dr. Space, I would recommend that we get a report halfway through,
Sure.
an update.
My other concern would be the waste factor, even though we'll be, I guess it would be preparing more meals now than
My hope is that more students do utilize breakfast and lunch, but we won't know that until school starts. The great majority of our students who eat breakfast and lunch are at our elementary schools because we do serve breakfast in the classroom. So the majority of the population that eats is in our K through 6 programs. But my hope is that we do get more students in middle school and high school to participate.
revisit that issue of the snack bar and close that down. They have to eat.
That's going to be, a lot of things are changing there in the snack bar because a lot of the items that we have to serve are now being also mandated by the USDA. And a lot of the foods, we can no longer bring outside food because a lot of it is not whole grain rich, and that's a requirement this year from the USDA.
Not cool,
It will include our prepaid children.
Nutrition.
Okay.
Government intrusion.
This is another action item, so we go on to D, cafeteria bids.
In your packets, you were given 3 bids that were going to be that I'm hoping to award this year, It is bid C293 Dairy Products. I'm requesting that bid be awarded to Creamland, which we've used in years past, and they service us well. Then there's bid C294 Dishwashing Supplies and Materials, which I'm recommending that bid be awarded to AutoCore Systems. And then, of course, we have our snack bar concession items, and that bid will be awarded to the product that's highlighted for the specific vendor. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, on that one, the last one that you mentioned, I was trying to figure it out. What did you say? That they're highlighted?
Yeah, they should be highlighted in yellow, the company who was awarded the bid.
Oh, okay.
All three, each different item.
So that's the reason why you have all of them listed.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Are there any questions?
No questions. That was my only question. Space?
I would recommend approval as presented.
Okay. We have a recommendation by our superintendent. Was there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
And Mr. Stewart, second. Snack bar king? Richard?
Yeah, I second.
I think you probably, I
Thank you.
don't know. Are you there, Richard?
Thank you.
Okay. We just approved the cafeteria bids. Okay.
I'm hungry now. What about you?
Okay, we go on to item 10, Superintendent, Dr. Mark Space, the status report. A would be,
Redistricting. At our last meeting, we talked about redistricting. We looked at several different plans. And after much discussion and some debate, the board, as my memory serves, was in favor of Plan B. So that's brought before you for action tonight. Mr. Sharp is here if you have any specific questions. Otherwise, I would recommend approval of Plan B.
we did get a handout and describes the communities, the schools involved. But other than that, there's, it stays the same, Richard. All right.
And this
So,
is pending, this is tentative pending the outcome of all the public hearings.
right.
Essentially, we approve the plan, we go out to present it to the community. In my experience, when you do that, you give people an opportunity to express their opinions. And every now and then, you get somebody who presents you with a jewel, something that, oh, we should really look at that. So, and it really gives them a voice. So you'll approve it tonight, and there's a possibility after all the presentations, the community presentations, that there might be a slight modification.
Okay.
So this is, we're approving this, I mean, this is like our recommendation of what we should go forward with, but then the next step is community meetings
And community feedback.
and feedback, and then whatever we get from them, then we could modify it
Right.
according to the feedback we got.
Right.
And let the record show that the board did review Plan A, B, C, and then this is the process that we chose to take action. Okay.
I recommend approval of Plan B.
Okay. Recommendation by the superintendent to approve Plan B. Is there a motion to this effect?
I'll make a motion.
Stewart. Second by Mr. Jones. All in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, board comments.
No, we go on, I'm going to talk a bit
Oh, I'm
about
sorry.
bond prep periods. We had, there was some concern raised. Yeah, I'm sorry. there was some concern raised regarding the level of compensation we were providing to our junior ROTC staff at Grants High School. So I asked Mr. Autry, as the principal, if there was a proposal that he could come up with. And you know, I really kind of wanted to see a balance of fairness. And Mr. Autry came up with something that I thought was appropriate and fair. And that is to buy the prep period of one of the instructors who essentially was already doing instruction during that period. So we were really compensating him for what he was doing and what we should be doing. So I think that should, I talked to Mr. Autry at length about it, I think that should resolve any issues that we have regarding the personnel with that program. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I do have a couple more comments that I wanted to share. Again, speaking to Mr. Autry, I want to laud he and his staff regarding AP, Advanced Placement. The number of AP exams taken by our students at Grants High School had increased by 24 over the previous year, and at the same time increased the percentage of students scoring a 3 or higher, which put us above the state level. We outscored the state of New Mexico and continue our upward trend of the percentage of students scoring proficient. So to me, that really speaks to their vision, a true home of scholars and champions. So I just wanted to make that public and share that. There's two more items. Thursday, I'll be meeting with the administration at Navajo Technical College. They'd like to enter into a dual enrollment program with our school district. They have set out and have done so with Gallup and would like to enter into discussions with us. So this is a preliminary meeting, but I anticipate that we'll have a memorandum of understanding before you sometime in the fall.
Where are they located?
They're in Crown Point, but there's a lot of things we can do in terms of distance ed. I think there's some things we can do regarding our culinary arts program, maybe some of our vocational programs. I did ask, because when I was in Rough Rock, a number of my kids, my students went there from Rough Rock High School, and I didn't know if, because it's an institution that was granted by the Navajo Nation, if they limited enrollment to Native American students, but that is not the case, and they welcome all students. So that's something that I think it just provides another avenue for our kids to explore.
Maybe building some dorms up there now.
Yeah, they're probably on the Navajo Nation the most progressive post-secondary institution, and they have some administration. They underwent a significant change about 2 years ago. They worked, for example, at Rough Rock High School. My woodshop teacher, they hired him to work in the evening, so my kids could come in and do advanced welding and woodworking under him and get college credit. And he was actually working to where they would, I had about 6 kids that when they finished the program would be certified welders. So I think there's some opportunity there for our students. And then finally, I had an opportunity to attend the final report presentation on Sandy Hook, and there was some of the information was really new to me, so I was thankful for that opportunity to attend. And it was shocking to me to learn that our three most extensive mass murders on school campuses, that is Columbine, Virginia Tech, and Sandy Hook, a high school, a college, and an elementary school, on an average, took 11 minutes from the first shot to the last shot. Those individuals went in there to kill as many people as they could before they killed themselves. And it really, I thought the amount of time, especially at Virginia Tech and Columbine, was much longer. So, I mean, Columbine was 17 minutes, and Virginia Tech was 10 to 12 minutes. Sandy Hook was only 6 minutes, and 20 children were murdered. They talked about some of the things that we can do, and I will commend Gerald Harasic, Mark Clark, Joan Gilmore, and our committee at Los Alamitos, because they're already looking at some of those things that we can do. Having a vestibule that as people come in, they can come in that first doorway, but they can't go past unless they're released by administration to go forward. Glazing the windows, what happened in Sandy Hook, they had some safety features set up, but when he realized he was going to be closed in, he went and looked in the windows outside the building and saw where he could go in and do the most damage, kill people. And that's what he did. He shot his way in. The glazing that they're going to be putting on Los Alamitos will deter that kind of action. It was interesting to me that some of our principals have already been thinking about the safety and security of some things that we can do. But one of the things that we're also looking at, and we'll put into place at Los Alamitos, are the Columbine locks. One of the biggest concerns that I have is when we have a lockdown like that and we have an active shooter, teachers have to go outside the classroom to lock the door, putting themselves at risk. And this way they'll be able to lock the doors from the inside. And so I'm really pleased that our committee is looking at some of these things already, and that the Arizona Department of State School Architecture came and gave the presentation free of charge. They wanted to share with their neighbors to the east. So just some valuable information. And I'll be talking with our architects a little bit further on some other specifics that, with Mark, about maybe some things that we can put into place at some of our existing schools. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Space.
I have a question regarding the buyback. Don't we have a policy in place already that allows us to do that?
Yeah.
And that rather than here on a case-by-case basis, if they fit the criteria?
That's what we typically do. It was so unusual, and I hadn't even thought about doing it. It was Mr. Autry proposing, and I said, hey, what can we do here? So yes, but you're right, Mr. Elliott.
Okay. Going to item 11, board comments. We'll allow our board member from Wyoming. Is he there? Richard, are you there?
I'm here.
Your comments.
I am here. My comment. We have this kind of land is for Jason. He gets on his first goals tonight. He's representing New Mexico and Bill Zach Grand High School at the national finals level. So if you guys have Dion's phone number, I just ask you to call or give him a text, give him a Jason. It's really cool that he's made it to where he is and where
Make sure you guys videotape it.
Yeah,
I'm sure we will.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Secondly, thanks for calling me in, and I'm sorry I lost a couple things, and I sure am homesick.
All right, Richard. Be safe.
Thank you.
Ms. Davis?
Again, it's another good meeting. I think all, Denise and, all of you that did the hard work on these presentations. I know how time consuming it is to gather all that data and to go out and seek funds, and I really appreciate all the work that you're doing to move us forward, especially the best use of health of our children. That's really important. And, I hope we move quickly on the Plan B, and we'll get that out into the public so that we can do, student safety is mostly our concern, and so we want to make sure that we're not overlapping and we have too many buses in one area, and make sure that the students are getting to the place we can get with as little headaches as possible. So I appreciate Mr. Sharp for all the, I know those maps took an enormous amount of work, and it's been very advantageous for us, for you to present that to us, so that we can have a clearer picture of that. Other than that, congratulations to Jason. I hope he goes further. I've been talking with Ian about it, so he's excited. He's out there himself, cheering his son along. And other than that, I hope Mr. Martinez has hit the ground running. And I hope you're not, we haven't scared you away yet. So, other than that, thank you.
George?
Thank you, Mr. Esteban. I'd like to, publicly say thank you to the magistrate court for the donation. They made us very kind and generous and much appreciated. Congratulations to the GHS and the improvements you're making with the AP testing. That's good to hear that. I also am happy to hear about the plan with the leader of ROTC. As I mentioned at a previous meeting, the success that program has seen has just been phenomenal, and it's no coincidence. It's because we've had a great leader leading those kids in that program, and I appreciate that whole effort there, and so I'm happy to hear we're able to come up with a way that hopefully continue to see good things from that program. Dr. Space, thank you for the information about school safety. I just think the more educated and prepared in that arena we are, the better off we all are. So thank you for that. And just thank you to all the staff for all your hard work. I know especially those of you working this summer and getting us ready for the next school year. Summers just go by so quickly, it seems, but I appreciate everyone doing a good job and helping us be ready. Look forward to the next school year. And I also want to congratulate Jason Sandoval and his efforts with the rodeo. That's pretty exciting. Thank you. Mr. Escalon.
Thank you. Just a few comments. Thank you for being along with us. But the thing that I wanted to say is, I'm glad to see that Dwayne has given us a little more information, because I think that's that type of thing that we need, information for us to digest so that we can make proper decisions and go on with, finding and making sure that our personnel is in place, especially this time of year. I did attend the New Mexico School Board Association leadership conference in Taos. And I will share some of the information. I'll have Brady make some copies for you guys, because it was a good conference, and I would encourage board members to go, because there were secretaries there and there was other board members that weren't for the president position. So I guess it's incumbent on each board what they want to do. But that one, and it was good weather.
That was a Thursday and Friday?
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. Just place soon, because I think we need to move on that. And then, the last, I think, the other thing that I wanted to mention is that the grass over here at the football field looks good, and, but they need to work on the one at Acoma.
Yes.
It's not seeding that, it doesn't
Right.
look good. I think they need to put the sod there. Put it in seed. So, other than that, I want to thank the staff, the hard work that they do. And Mr. Martinez is starting off slow, but he's getting the hang of the things that's the way we do.
Yes.
Right, so, that, thank you for your attendance this year. Announcements, we have Monday, August 4th, we're ready to do teacher orientation. I plan on being there. Tuesday, August 5th, regular board work session, 5:30 p.m. Wednesday, August 6th, general session, welcome back for teachers, 8:30 in Grants High School gym. Wednesday, August 6th to the 8th, PLC days for teachers. Tuesday, August 12th, students return to school. Tuesday, August 19th, regular board meeting, 5:30 in the boardroom. Wednesday, October 15th through the 18th, National Indian Education Association Conference in Anchorage, Alaska. And future agenda items, and call for adjournment.
I have a future agenda item. A while back, you had voted about a student eligibility, and I'm still waiting for someone to bring that policy change so that we're not doing this a case-by-case basis. Something to do with our rules are more stringent than the NFAA. So let's see if we can get that policy change so that we don't have to do this on a case-by-case basis.
Any other agenda items? Call for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do it.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.